Catherine, all yours.
Okay, well, thank you for inviting me to come along last minute and give you some tips on sales. So I've just been I'm finishing off writing my training course, my online training course, which I'm launching next year. So I've got an idea of the lesson that I've just recently been putting together. So it's all fresh in my mind. And it's an important lesson because it's all about how to start the sales conversation. And a lot of people don't know how to start a sales conversation. And if you want to come across as being professional and you want to respect people's time and get the meeting off to a good start on the right foot, then it's really good to have it. I say scripted. I don't like scripting too much, but sometimes I think as part of your planning, you need to plan out and script out what you want to say, and especially at the beginning of a sales conversation, because like any presentation, people will remember the beginning and they remember the end, and the middle sometimes is a bit of a blur. So it's always good to start with a good strong opening and end with a good strong call to action at the end as well, if you're doing presentations or asking for the business at the end of the sales conversation, or whatever the objective is for the sales call, because not all sales calls are for a sale at the end of it, because some sales have long lead times. So sometimes at the end of the sales call, it could be that you're just asking for another meeting with another group of people to come and join in. It could be that you're just asking for a trial of your product or an opportunity to demonstrate the product. So your sales call could have many objectives. But obviously, eventually, those sales meetings will lead to a meeting that ends up being where you're going to be asking for the business at the end of it. And the objective is to get the sale. So going back to the start of the conversation, how do you get yourself off on the right foot for your sales conversation? So the first thing that you need to do is, obviously, you've got those small talk pleasantries. The things that you need to say just to warm things up and build that rapport, because whether it's the first meeting you're having with them or successive meetings, you need to have good rapport with people. So there's many ways, and that's a lesson in itself, just talking about how to build rapport. But simple way to start is asking a question, something like, you may have done your research on social media about the person, so you might know something about them and their business that you can comment on. So let's say you saw they won an award at some event and you saw it posted on their social media platforms. So you might want to follow up with an initial question just about, oh, I saw on Facebook that you were at that award tonight, you won an award, congratulations. And how did that come about? And ask them a good open question to get them talking about something that they're going to be interested in. It could be something that you've seen on social media. If you know that they're interested in a sports event or any sports activity or anything with their kids, then you can ask them about that personal thing that they're going to want to talk about, and they're going to be happy to share it with you. So that's the small talk. But of course, some people, if you start them with small talk, they're going to want to keep going. Someone like me, who's a high I on the DISC profile. If anyone's familiar with DISC, I'm a high I, high D, which means I like to talk. And so for a salesperson, they're going to have that problem trying to get me off the conversation of whatever the award was or whatever sport event it was I'm talking about, and back into the conversation of the sales conversation and the objective that you've set for that call. So an easy way to be able to transition someone from the small pleasantries, the rapport building conversation, and then moving them into the objective of the call is just to say, so this is one way. It works most of the time. You could say, so I understand, I know that your time is valuable, and I'd like to be able to, move on to the purpose of why we met today, something like that. But you just say so, and it breaks that the conversation from that pleasantries and brings it back into what it is you're there to talk about. And once you've done that, then you need to ask, we need to set it up, and there's a framework that you can use. And if you just keep this framework in your head, you can then work out what to say. I mean, I like to think you script it out and plan it to begin with, but eventually when you get good, you can just come on, it just comes off, you know, automatically and naturally. And so the 3 letters that you have to remember are P for purpose, B for benefit, and C for check. So purpose. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell them what the purpose is of the meeting. So you'd say, what is it that you want to achieve from the meeting today? So, and then you would go into the benefit. So what is the benefit that the customer, not necessarily you, because you know your benefit, but your customer's benefit that they're going to gain from having this meeting? So they're not going to be looking at their watch thinking, oh, this is boring. You're letting them know that this meeting has value to them. So it's the benefit. And then check, the C is for check, which is where you gain agreement from them to continue. And basically you say, so how does that sound? So they're going to agree with you, because hopefully when you're telling them about what your purpose is and the benefit, it links in with the purpose that you probably told them that you wanted the meeting in the first place when you picked up the phone and booked the appointment, or you sent the email, and they've agreed to meet with you based on that purpose and that objective you've already told them. So, but remember, the objective is about, and the benefit is all about them, not so much, it's not, I'm here to sell you my product. It's more, I'm here to help you and find out more about you and your business so that I can help you down the path. So why would you use the PBC? So the PBC technique, you would use it because it aligns your customers' expectations with your own from the get-go. And it demonstrates that you've actually put some thought and you've prepared and organized yourself before the meeting. And it also shows respect for the customer's time. So you're not going in there and just going to rabbit on about something that's of no interest to them. And it also means that from the very beginning of the conversation, you can communicate with influence at the beginning. So straight away, you're going to be setting yourself apart from most people who sit down and haven't prepared using a technique like the PBC. It also increases your credibility and it sets the meeting up on the right foundation. So that's the tip for today, is, and also actually the last thing you would do then is ask permission to ask questions, because you're going to need to ask questions to find out about your prospect and their business, to find out what their needs are, what their issues and problems are. So it's always good to ask permission. They're probably going to say yes anyway. It's unlikely they're going to go, no, you can't ask me a question, because a conversation is made up of questions and listening. And all you're doing is formalizing it and getting their permission. And again, it just helps with that credibility and professionalism. So what have we got? We've got step 1 is you come in with that rapport, building the small talk, do your preparation so you know what to ask. You can look around the waiting room or the offices to look to see, if you haven't done your preparation, what can you pull out from what you've seen around the room that you can talk about. So once you transition from rapport, use the word so to link them into the actual business call, and then use the PBC. So the purpose of my meeting today is, and the benefit I see you getting is that you will blah, blah, blah. And is that okay? How does that sound? Check. And they'll say yes. And then you go, would it be okay if you might say, I might just take a few notes. Is that okay? It's another good one to ask permission to take notes. They'll always say yes. And if they say, oh, why do you want to take notes? You say, well, I want to be able to make sure that I get everything that you say, so that, if I'm going to help you, I don't miss anything. So I sometimes say, well, I'm over 50, so the brain doesn't work as sharp as it used to do. So I like to take notes, otherwise I'll forget important bits. So, and then ask permission, is it okay to ask questions? So that's my recommendation for starting the sales conversation. It's quite important to do, I think. And once you do that a few times, you'll get comfortable doing it after a while. It'll become second nature. And it also means by the time you get into the asking questions and having the sales conversation, you've already got the ball rolling. So you've settled into the conversation. So you'll be feeling more comfortable as well.
Fantastic.
There you go. That's my tip for the day.
Thank you very much. On short notice, you come in the room and you do. Fantastic. Thank you very much.